Hey, it's a Sunday. Let's take a look at the week that was last and see how the Tigers did.
Turn that off. It's time for No Pad Sports Talk. Stay tuned as two brothers bring you the latest from your Michigan teams and beyond in hockey, baseball, football, and more. Let's get started. Here are your hosts, JD and Steve.
Well, there's one host, just me. Steve will not be with us tonight. He's got other, personal stuff going on. So it's just me, and we're going to take a look at the Tigers over the last week. We're going to try to make it a quick show, just get the points, data, talk about a little bit of something, and then just kind of move on, right? Let's get into it, right? So last week, the Tigers started on a Sunday. They finished up their 3-game series against the Diamondbacks on Sunday, which they lost 6-4. That meant that the Tigers did not sweep the Diamondbacks. They did go 2-1, so they won that weekend series. That was really nice. Also, in that series, you seen Colt Keith get a pinch hit, so that was nice. But aside from a home run that Torkelson hit, that was pretty much, the offense. There was a couple walks, a couple runs scored, but ultimately not much to talk about. Matt Manning, he gave up 10 hits in 5 innings with 3 walks and 4 earned runs, only striking out 1. I'd say it was probably his worst performance as a pro this year. Moving on to Monday, they started a 3-game series against the Royals. They did get swept by the Royals. The score was 8-3 Monday and Wednesday, and they also only scored 3 runs on Tuesday. So it was not a very good series for them in any stretch for anything. Right? There wasn't good pitching. There wasn't good hitting. That series, Royals just absolutely dominated. Kerry Carpenter did have a pretty good game, and so did Colt Keith. Colt Keith actually went 3 for 4 in that Monday game. The Tuesday, in which they lost 10-3, more of the same. Villian did have 2 hits, but Keith also had 3, and that's where the offense kind of stopped. But in that game, Casey Mize started, gave up 6 earned runs and only 1.2 innings of work. So again, not a very good, strong pitching performance at all. And then the last game of the series, there wasn't much hitting at all. There was a couple guys got a single base hit: Rogers, Baez, Keith, Green, Carpenter, and Ibanez. That was it. Ibanez did have 2 RBIs, and Baez had 1, and that was it. This was a game Skubal started, and it was by far his worst performance of the year, giving up 4 earned runs, over 5 innings pitched with 6 strikeouts. So after the Royal series, they started their series against the Blue Jays, and that's when things kind of turned around. It was a 4-game set against the Blue Jays. They did lose the first game against the Blue Jays 9-1. And that put them in a 5-game losing streak. And though, again, there wasn't much to really talk about in this game either. The 1 RBI came from Perez, and there was only 5 hits total on the for the Tigers. That was it. Flaherty pitched 6.1 innings with 3 earned runs. Faedo gave up 3 earned runs, and so did Mason Englert. So again, not a lot there. Flaherty did strike out 9 over the 6.1. So his strikeout numbers were nice, but he was still giving up 7 hits and a walk and 3 earned runs. So again, not much to talk about there. But the second game against the Toronto Blue Jays, things turned around for the Tigers. We had Green, Canna, Carpenter, McKinstry, Kelly all contributed with 1 hit, and Keith once again had a multi-hit game. This was also his first home run of his career. So he went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a home run, and of course that 1 run scored. This was probably Maeda's best pitching performance that he had all year, going 5 innings, giving up 4 hits, not walking anybody, not giving up any earned runs, and he only struck out one. But he limited hard contact, and that's what we're looking for to Maeda, really. Bo Brisk came in for 2.2 innings of work, striking out 2, walking 2, only giving up 1 hit. Will Vest got some work in, Chafin got some work in, and Foley closed it out with just 1 batter, or got 1 out. So that's when it kind of all turned around. The Tigers won that one 6-2. Then Saturday, where the week kind of ends here, the Tigers once again won that game. You had Canna with 2 hits, Carpenter 2 hits, Urshela with 2 hits, and Rogers with 2 hits. So you had 4 players getting all 8 of your hits combined. Carpenter hit a home run there. He went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and that 1 home run. But Olson was by far the story here. He once again had a very strong pitching performance, giving up 3 hits, 3 walks, with 4 strikeouts over 6.1 innings of work. Fayota came in for the final 2 outs of the 7th, and you had Foley pitch in the 8th, Holton pitch in the 9th. They each gave up only 1 hit apiece, and that was the ball game. And so today, we normally talk about Sunday's games on the next Sunday, but this was such a great game, offensively for the Tigers anyways. Vierling going 4 for 6, and he actually had 2 home runs in that game, including the game winner. Canna going 3 for 5. Colt Keith once again getting a base hit, going 1 for 2, and a pinch hitting roll. And then 7 in there at second base after that. The Carson Kelly also got a home run. Torkelson finally got a home run again. I know he got one before, but I mean, finally, just like we're starting to see him come around. It's been a very slow start for Torkelson. We'll talk more about him a little bit later. But he's going 3 for 5, got 3 runs scored, 1 RBI. That was really nice to see. Baez even got a hit with 2 RBIs. In fact, every position player that played got a hit except for Carpenter. He came in a pinch hit role, got 2 at-bats, got 1 walk, and went 0 for 1 in his other at-bat. My start at the game gave up 8 hits, 2 walks, 3 earned runs, over 4.1 innings of work. And then it was just a lot of pitchers coming in for basically 1 inning at a time, right? Joey Wentz, Will Vest, Tyler Holton, Jason Foley, and Englert to close it out, giving up a walk and a strikeout. So that's kind of what today's game is. But again, I just wanted to highlight the fact that this was Tigers' best offensive performance. They scored 4 quick runs in the second, came back and scored another one in the third, and then 3 more in the 5th, 1 more in the 6th, 2 in the 8th, 3 in the, they just kept scoring. And this was great to see. I know we've seen other offensive explosions, but they scored like 8 or 9 runs in 1 inning, and that was it, right? Like the scoring just all came in 1 inning. This time they just kept scoring over and over and over again in multiple innings. 6 of the 9 innings they ended up scoring runs in, which was phenomenal, right? That was so nice to see. But again, we'll talk more about that next week. I gotta stick with the Sunday through Saturday schedule from last week, because again, we're trying to keep this time a little low here. Excuse me. So what I want to talk about and just highlight just a couple offensive players here, okay? And I want to start with Spencer Torkelson. Again, this is from the 19th to 24th, so last Sunday to just yesterday, Saturday. During that span, Tigers only won 2 games, I think it was, but at any rate, they went 2-5. So yeah, they didn't do so hot there. Spencer Torkelson, he did sit out Saturday, so he didn't play that game at all, which was probably good. He needed the rest. And again, he had a home run today, had a couple hits in that game on Sunday. So the rest looked like it paid off, because he is not looking well at all for that last week. So in the 6 games that he played, he had 20 at bats, 23 total plate appearances. And in that time, he only had 1 hit. 1 hit all week. Now, the hit was a home run. That was his RBI. He also had 3 walks. He had 3 strikeouts. But look, he had a .050 batting average, a 174 on base percentage, a 200 slugging, and a 374 ops. It was absolutely pathetic. That was terrible. I'm hoping Spencer Torkelson, this is the start of a good week for him. Being a multi-hit game, getting a home run also on Sunday, but last week was dreadful. There is no excuse for it. He just has to do better. That's it. I mean, that you can't have your first baseman who you kind of rely on to provide a little pop in the bat to bat 50. Anyway, enough about Torkelson. Riley Green didn't fare much better. All right, he played all 7 games last week, only accumulating 3 hits, one of which was a double. He also had 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. His batting average was a 115, on base 179, a 154 slugging, and a 332 ops. Again, Riley Green, he's one of those guys that you want to rely on. He's going to face the franchise. You have to get way more protection from Riley Green. That ain't going to work. And this is why they ended up losing 5 of 7 games. Carpenter, big bright spot here, right? He's one of the reasons why you won 2 games. Out of the 7 games that he played, he had 7 hits, 1 double, 1 triple, 3 home runs over that time period, 7 RBIs, 3 walks, struck out 4 times, 389 batting average with a 455 on base, 1056 slugging, and a 1510 ops. I'm telling you, he's heating up. Hopefully we start, it'd be very difficult for him to stay at this level, but hopefully he doesn't cool off and just get ice cold. We got to have Kerry Carpenter, Torkelson, and Green all contributing in this lineup. Carpenter definitely did his part. And then Colt Keith. All right. He also played in all 7 games, but he only started in 6. During that time period, he had 10 hits. 2 were doubles, 1 was a home run, 4 RBIs total, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He got hit by a pitch once. And this line is awesome. I love this line. Over last week, Colt Keith is batting .476 with a .522 on base percentage, 714 slugging, and 1236 ops. Love it. That's what we need from Colt Keith. The change to his swing, I know it's been talked about all the time as far as him, kind of dropping the leg kick a little bit and more or less using kind of like a toe tap, small stride. It really seems to be working. His swing has been just, completely night and day as well. His production has been night and day. And aside from those players, there hasn't really been much else as far as to highlight. I know, like I talked about today with Matt Vierling getting 2 home runs, but that was just today, right? If you go back and you look at the rest of what he did during that same time period, not that great. He's played in 5 games, started 5, got 4 hits, 1 double, 1 triple, 4 RBIs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts with a sacrifice fly. So his batting average of 267, on base 368, slugging 467, ops 835, which for Vierling, you can probably say is you'll take that from Vierling. The extra base hits are nice with the double and the triple. But again, you don't really expect him to put up the numbers of what Colt Keith, Kerry Carpenter, Spencer Torkelson, and Riley Green should be putting up, right? Like, he's just not at that level. But this kind of production is probably what you would want out of a Matt Vierling player who just contributes. But at any rate, it was a very bad last week, only winning 2. It was nice. Ultimately to kind of, come in playing against the Blue Jays and winning that series, taking 3 of 4. That really kind of turned that around. If they lost that series, it would have been dreadful because that's where all their wins came from. So, yeah, not much to really discuss. Just kind of wanted to cover last week's games for the Tigers. I also kind of want to do a shout out to Fuzzy and Pitching Ninja. I know we're a much smaller channel here, but they're running into some issues with MLB and like doing copyright strikes or copyright claims, rather not strikes, copyright claims on their content. I know Fuzzy's talking about like how he's not going to be able to do his daily recap, which sucks because I'm a big Fuzzy fan. I watch his recaps every single day. This is something that Major League Baseball needs to change their policy on. When you have a person like Fuzzy kind of recapping, and he's not just showing highlights, the guy's talking through the entire clips, adding his own take on what's going on in the games. Like, there's no reason to do a copyright claim on that. I think it should fall under fair use, but again, I'm not a lawyer. But Major League Baseball, I just think they need to do better. Fuzzy's bringing more people into the game, and that's what you want. And the fact that they would do this to Fuzzy, I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. But at any rate, hang in there, Fuzzy. Appreciate you, man. You do a great job. I love your stuff. And if for some reason you guys are listening to our channel and haven't checked out Fuzzy, you need to. Fuzzy produces some great content. But at any rate, that's all I kind of wanted to talk about and say. Look, I love baseball. Love the Tigers, but they got it. I know I'm wearing a Twins shirt. I was going to comment on this too. I was going to forget too. I saw myself in the camera. I was on a flight. The flight got canceled. I was out of clothes, and that's where I was at. That's all I had was a Twin shirt. So that's why I got a Twin shirt on it, right? But look, I'm a big Tigers fan. Definitely want them to turn this thing around. Offensively, it's just been a joke. And maybe this offensive explosion today, Sunday, might spark something in them. Don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But at any rate, if you're still with me, appreciate you listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to No Pads Sports Talk. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, help spread the word by leaving a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on social media at No Pads Sports Talk.